everybody, Big Fat Plus, and welcome back to the BygMan Plays Planescape Torment, request by Bormac. When last left off, we cleaned up a bit of the town, and now I happen to see a starving dog barking thug. Let's have a word with the little bastard, shall we? This wild-eyed man is hunched over, barking and howling at the top of his lungs. Beneath his thick, matted hair, you can make out a series of strange tattoos. They run the range from screaming faces to bizarre geometric shapes to what appear to be lines of furs. He's almost naked, but the dirt and filth covering him gives him a semblance of modesty. Greetings! The man whirls on you. He gives a low growl. He draws out the growl for a few seconds and starts barking violently. At a distance, you can hear answering barks. Fine, we'll bark, snarl back in, baring your teeth. Man's barking into the snarl. He leaps at you. Is that you want to die, Wolfman? Apparently it is. Yeah. As you can tell, I made a very bad mistake there. I need to kill him. I want to kill him.
All right.
Okay, we'll give him a long forlorn howl this time. The man will snarl at him, baring his teeth. They want to die. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have myself pull away and have Morty attack. Why?
Good as done.
Because. So, now Morty's hopefully got his attention. I'm going to turn around and I'm going to...
Die.
Oh, there be starving dog number 2!
Die.
This is probably the worst place we can be in Sigil at the worst time.
All right.
Up here, I guess. Hey, can I drop some crap here? That's probably worth.
I'm gone.
And that's definitely not worth. Wait. Yeah, okay.
Done.
Let's check our... Well, we've killed 2 of them. Let's save this. 11. There's gotta be
Alright.
one more round here.
All right.
They are quite powerful, I will give them that. They are quite powerful indeed. And you use that because it's more interesting for you. And I will use these. Yeah, because I don't want to have to keep running back and waste time. I swear, it just kind of made me jump there. Weird how it's doing it now. We still gotta find one more barking dog and make him bark his last.
I'm gone. All right.
I have yet to find him. Well, anyway, let's go over here to the Phil's Tattoo Parlor. If he's open. He should be, right? Hey, Phil, how is it? You see Adolphus, but something about him strikes you as odd. It is the same shock of white hair, the same greenish cast to its skin, The same pair of goat horns, and then you should realize that this one is walking on the ground, not floating. For some reason, this makes you uneasy. I had some questions for you. Dalbus waits. Who are you? Dalbus inclines his head slightly, and a lone symbol appears above his head. It is blurry at first, and then resolves to a white oval with a black lightning bolt through it. For some reason, you know Dalbus has a name. Its name is Fel. I feel like I know you, Fel. Fel bows reverently, and a stream of symbols swirl about his head, rotating clockwise and counterclockwise. You have to guess at some of the symbols, but you think he said something about this not being the first time you've come to this place. Do you know who I am? There are a series of symbols materialize quickly and sharply into focus above Fel's head. These symbols are not as difficult as the others. You think he said he knows you, but he cannot say any more than that. Why not? From what there is no response from Fel. Then a stream of rebuses appear, as if trickling out of Fel's mind. You think he's saying he's sorry, but you can't translate the rest. I see. I have another question for you. What is this place? Soul Train symbols materialize on Fel's head. The symbols take several months to resolve, starting with simple lines, then flesh themselves out into breathtaking colors. You're guessing some of the symbols, but you think he's an artist, and this is a tattoo parlor. Now see what tattoos you have. Yes! We can get tattoos, which are supposed to increase our special abilities, like +1 versus paralyzation and luck, and whatnot, or greater might, +2 to strength. That's definitely one I'll probably be getting, but unfortunately, as you can tell, we can't afford a single damn one. At least not until I can find a place that will allow me to sell shit. I mean, honestly, most of that shit is $0. Oh, no, the rings are $40, but yes, from what this place is, I'm gonna save, cause, yeah. Guess I want to check back here. It looks like it's floating, but it's not.
Alright.
Apparently we can't go in there. But yes, we'll be coming back here when I have money to upgrade our abilities. But for now, we will now head to the Smoldering Corpse Bar, which is right here. Oh, hold on. See the burning man! He's on fire! Run, you little pansy. I said run, bitch! Fine. Morty managed to get in, of course. We are now in the Smoldering Corpse Bar. Oh boy. I've only been in one bar in my life. My friends know of it, you can ask them. It was an interesting experience, not one I was expecting. We can talk to the Burning Man. The cackling, billowing creature twists slowly above an iron grill upon the floor. Great, we're standing on a grill. It may have once been human, but now its skin is charred beyond recognition. Streams of fire form a wreath around the creature's body, and the flames lick at the few remaining pockets of flesh, causing them to bubble and run like wax down the creature's skeleton frame. Let's examine them first. The heat surrounding this creature is incredible. To your surprise, the iron grill the creature floats above has sagged and bent from the heat. At first you thought the heat came from the grill, but now you realize it emanates from the creature. As you watch, flecks of ash drift from the writhing corpse and float slowly to the ceiling. Greetings. The thing makes no response. It rises slowly within the flames. It lives, but it does not seem aware of anything other than the fire that surrounds it. Its skin is flame, its heart is flame, and you know within some shadowed corner of your memory, this thing is dangerous. And of course we examine it. Let's leave the thing alone. Get the fuck off the damn grill! Vents blow incredibly high air from the furnaces below. Drusilla. Oh, hello, madam. This is a woman with fading bruises on her face and arms, and a look of despairing longing in her sunken eyes. She might have been pretty once, but those days were long gone. She turns slowly to face you. Life pours into her features, and a spark of sardonic light that dances in her eyes. That makes you wonder if your eyes were deceiving you. Welcome to the Smoldering Corpse Bar, Scarred Man. Who are you? I am Drusilla. And you must be clueless. Don't ask me how I know that. It just shines off you. Shines, right. Answer the question for me, please. Aye, traveler, what is it you seek? Can you tell me about this place? Here? This is Smoldering Corpse Bar. This is a smoldering corpse. Though the person smoldering ain't dead yet. He's just keeping himself alive till someone comes along to help him out. Sods who like to see people in pain come here. Fiends like it. Folks who don't much care for being bothered come here too. Name alone keeps out most of the Burks. Who is he
Updated
anyway?
my journal.
That despair you saw on her face before flits across it again like a black-winged shadow before she masters herself. That thing is one of the greatest wizards ever to come out of this slummy excuse for a cesspool. They caught him, and they opened a channel to the plane of fire through him. Now he's just a doorway for it, keeping himself alive by force of will alone. If someone could douse him for a few moments, it'd give him his life back again, but they don't make enough water to do that. Someone should be able to... Yeah, so let's see. What other options? What's your connection to him? Her voice practically throbs with a deep ache. I was Angus' lover, and he, my beloved. He loved the flame more than me, and now he has become the flame. And because I love him, I love the flame. But that's all done with now. Now I wait for him to douse himself. I sell what little I have just so I can be near him. Very well. I'll answer some other questions. I'm looking for a journal. Would you happen to have seen it? A journal? Oh, sure. I kept an eye out for all stray journals, just in case some scarred man walks into my favorite bar and starts asking about it. Do you guys have everyone meet? What a fascinating life. Just answer my questions. Let's get through with this. I'm looking for a collector by the name of Farad. Have you seen or heard of him? Farad? She snickers. The collector king? Probably find him sticking up the trash warrants on the far side of the hive. Good luck in getting any answer from him. He's a sly devil is. Very well, answer my questions. Do we have anything else? Nothing. Good day. Let's check our journal here. Beast. And we have two new ones here, apparently. Takan. Takan is a Githzerai, one of the tight-lipped people of Limbo. His skin is yellow and lined. Appears to be old. Pain haunts his small black eyes. He carries a blade of strange metal. And we also have Ingus, who appears to be on fire like a motherfucker. Which sucks. It's a burning man hovering near the grill in the Smoldering Corpse Bar. His skin bubbles and jars, and flames pour from his tormented eyes. Yet his expression is far away, almost as if he were rippling in the flames. And yes, these are PCs. Which means a Burning Man's gonna be joining us. Oh, there's the bar star we saw. Half man, half goat, all attitude. The bar are, however, are rough and tumble warriors of a nomadic race. Straightforward people with a zest for life. From what you've seen, they tend to keep to themselves. A black Abashi. Oh, nothing. Abashi is one of the least forms of the Baitsu. Race of lawful fiends seek to impose cruel tyranny on the face of evil. A black Bishai, whatever the hell, is the lowest of the whatever, ranking below the green and the red forms. They are the infantrymen and skirmishers of the Blood War. They are malicious, and compared to the rest of the Baitsu race, not terribly covered. And there's her. Let's see. Okay. There's a Githzerai. Githzerai, the long separated kin of the Githyanki. And where their former brethren were cruel and vicious, the Githzerai are quiet and reserved, burning with a passion that drives them far beyond what most mortals are capable of. They dwell in limbo, in the ever-shifting seas of chaos, making their fortress homes impregnable against the attacks of the natives of that plane. They speak in metaphors and legends and carry themselves with quite a nobility. Huge. Oh shit, you are huge. Some folks are just born large. Some of them use their abnormal physique to intimidate us and travel through life, terrorizing those who are smaller. Tending to favor bronzor brains, and sadly, too often, they get away with it. Merchant? Oh, lovely. In all places and all times, there seem to be merchants. Their desperate grubbing for money and material gain is pathetic, yet their greed mirrors the commerce of the human soul. Sigil is in other places, they sell whatever everyone else is willing to buy. Okay. We apparently have lots of interesting people here. Sadly, as the walkthrough says, we can't help Ingus for quite some time. I hope we can, because I really do want him in my party. And there's some bitch named O over here in this. Mercy Killer Patton. He's 30 pounds, sport the ramshackle roof. Eb Crackneys! He's a slightly stooped old man with a full grey beard and a lion's mane of grey hair. He wears a couple of shoulder guards as armor and keeps the helmet nearby. He smokes a pipe and carries a pouch of tobacco around his waist. He looks pretty strong, but he's a little plump and also appears to have some sort of breathing trouble. Well now, aren't you a sight, lad? Never have I seen so many scars blinking in the fella. Like a scar cloak you're wearing. Where you been, hanging out in a grain thresher? He laughs. Oh, I'm jesting with you, lad. No offense, man. I hope no offense taken. I'm Eb. Greetings, Eb. Handshake is firm. Now, I hereby tender my apologies for that for your jesting, lad. Hope no hard feelings. Can I buy you a tankard or two of something to smooth any ruffled feathers? Yeah, why not? That's the spirit, lad. Bide a moment. Rises to his feet and heads to the bar. After a moment, he returns to his seat with a pair of tankards. Here you go, lad. Drink up. Takes a massive swallow from his own tankard, puffs on his pipe and says, What can old Eb do for you this fine essential day? I had some questions about this place. Oh? Well, I gathered that. Just to look at you. I mean, you don't look like you're from around these parts, lad. You look a little too out of sorts to be a seasoned native. Eb chuckles and takes another drink. So what can I help you with, lad? You need to know the lay of the land? Eb winks. Eb, who are you, for one? Eb Crackneys, third measure of the harmonium. Now retired and being a tout with one voice since I don't step as lightly as I might these past 2 or 3 decades. Chuckles. Now, lad, who be you and what trouble might you be in? The third measure of harmonium? Ed puffs up slightly in pride and gets a semi-stern look on his face. Aye, third measure of the harmonium. He relaxes a little. Though I haven't served a tour of duty in many a decade, pushing a quill wasn't quite up my alley after all the fights and skirmishes I've been in. So just bide my time keeping tabs on things down here in the hive and helping out a little where I can. And you look like someone who might need a hand. Are you some kind of trouble out? Yeah, few. What other options we got? Number 3, let's be stupid. A few troubles. I woke up at March and seem to have forgotten who I am. Eh? Ed blinks and frowns. What was that you said, Dad? That you woke up in the mortuary? Eb studies you closely. Oh, now, did they mistake you for a dead under all them scars, mayhap? Ed chuckles. Can't say I would have been any smarter. Puffs his pipe. Them Dusties. Catches himself. I mean, them Dustmen. Dust is being rude turn referred to them pale-faced fellas. And I don't mean them too much disrespect. They have all the perceptions and friendliness of a gravestone sometimes, eh? Can't say I couldn't see him screwing that up. No, that's what I heard. Here's one of questions. Do you know someone named Farad? Farad? Eb frowns, takes a pipe from his mouth. Now, lad, what you be wanting with a Burkrek Farad? I think he stole some of my belongings. Oh, no doubt, lad, no doubt. Eb grumbles, chewing on his pipe. You have to chain up everything around that grasping little spider. Should have been one of the fated about the way... He should have been one of the fated the way anything not chained down slips into his parlor. Don't give him a yard, he'll take a leak, eh? What do you know about him? Well, now, I don't know everything there is to know about him, old Farad. But I know some of the dark surrounding him. If you're determined to track down that spider and nail him to a wall, then I suppose I could spill some of the chat. So you know what you're tangled with. Pauses. Tap his pipe. Farad dug his nest deep into Ragpicker's Square not too long ago. Got a bunch of collectors and gangsters started what one could almost consider a collecting faction. Be that as it may. Where can I find him? Well, lad, if you're looking for Farad, which I would say is pretty balmy of you, you're a little off the beaten path. You'll have to find Ragpicker's Square. Chances that Farad set up his kip somewhere in the square. Even old fellow like me who's been around the ring a few times don't know exactly where. I figure that Farad wants to keep the dark on his location dark. If you're all bound and determined to find Farad, go to Ragpicker Square and try and dig up Farad's location from some of the locals. Try and be careful about it, since there's plenty in the square that would make a gut harp out of you as soon as they look at you. I had some other questions. I am missing a journal. Missing a journal? Was there more to the journal than just pages and words? Otherwise, I can't imagine too many bloods who would bother themselves with letters unless they're really hot and spicy. Not much use for books to learn around here. I don't know where you might find such a thing. It puffs on his pipe. They said the secrets. But you know, lad, if Farad is the one who scraped you off the Sigil Street, then he might know the dark of where your stuff is. Most likely in his larder, if you ask me. A dead man is usually in no position to keep his possessions when the collectors tumble across his body. But that's the same crap. Other questions? What other places does your man say? Well, it puffs his pipe state. This is perhaps the best escape you could have wandered into from the start. Judging by your tattoos, you might be partial to having signs on your body, in which case, it's a tattoo salon a little spyward from here. You want to stay away from the alley of dangerous angles if you can. Angus touched that place not too long ago, and ever since a bunch of bad bloods have set up their kip in that stretch doesn't, nice things. Yeah, lovely. A loss? See a trim, muscular man dressed in clothing that is comparatively drab and mundane compared to the most of the outfits you've seen in this city. Carries himself with an air of supercilious arrogance. Just dramatically out of place here. What do you want, yes? Yeah, who are you? I am Elias, warrior of renown. Surely you have heard of me? No. Can it truly be that none in this town have heard of me or my exploits? Alas, I shall have to prove myself all over again. And here I had thought my famous spread across the world. What world are you from? I come from the city of Eliburn on the river Tame. Surely you have heard of its glories and wonders? No matter. This place has been benighted and ignorant when it comes to the splendors of true cities. I am told that my land is what is called a prime by the denizens of the city, though a prime of what, I do not know. How'd you get here? I was chasing my old foe, the villainous life-shade Tyr Telemel. He pauses, waiting for acknowledgement, and then continues. He conjured his demonic magic and opened himself a doorway, and hurled himself through it. Before he could flee me entirely, I threw myself after him, and found myself here. I get it. You're one of the clues. He bristles, reddening. His hand clutches convulsively around the hilt of his sword. Clueless, is it? I take offense to your words, Sirrah, and I bid you farewell in the hopes that we should never cross paths again. Turns away from his still flushed private. I just wanted to ask you some questions. Sighs heavily and his eyes would stay. Then be on with it, scarred one. Ask and be done. I'd like to apologize. Appears entirely shocked. His notion of apologies is alien him. You wish to apologize? That's what I said. Then I suppose, as a point of honor, I must accept your apology. Very well. In return, offer my apology as well. Let us set the matter aside and speak no more of it. Very well. Could you answer some questions? What knowledge do you seek? Have you heard of a collector named Fraud? Fraud? Collector? These names are terms unfamiliar to me, but if I should hear them mentioned in any other context, I shall certainly remember your face. Indeed, I could not forget it. Thanks, farewell. Why do not even looking at the magazine, not even looking at the player's guide. Why do I have this? Okay, thank the gods, he's not on there. Eb Crackneys, let's look at, oh good lord, looks like a tall dwarf. Eb Crackneys is an old Harmonium member who seems to be content enough to sit in his chair at the smoldering crossbar and run his mouth up whoever will listen to him. He is fond of information, if you can get past all the long-winded explanations. Sparsely allowed use to score weapons and talents not matched the grimy buildup of years worth of drinks that encrust the surface of the bar. Alright, let's see. Hello, Barkus. Why are we walking around the bar? See a leather-skinned man with just a hint of ashen color to his face. His teeth seem sharper than normal, and his eyes are filled with the boredom that comes with having seen too much. His voice is nasal and clipped. You again, eh? What you wanted to say? You again? What do you mean? Yeah, you again. You got a hearing problem or something now? You was in about 15 years ago, all bubbled up, smashed up the place, and left a pile of coin that wasn't enough to pay for the damages. So you plucked out your own bleeding eyeball and tells me you'll be back to reclaim it when you got about 200 coins together. With 15 years of interest, you got about 500 coins. Get the jink pal, I got your eye. 500? That's ridiculous. Pause a moment considering. That it is. Tell you what, give me 300 yours. Still can't afford it. They're not getting your eye back. Makes sense. Makes sense? Come talk to me when you get the jink. Very well. I have some questions for you. Hurry up, will you? I got paying customers. Who are you anyway? Me and Boxer, we're keeper of this place. Then you're the person to ask questions. Hurry up, will you? I got paying customers. What can you tell me of the patients here? I don't make it a point to interfere with the lives of the people who give me their hard-earned jink unless they ask me to. So, over there is Kendrick, Planeswalker. He's a good one to talk about. He's a good one to talk to about any planeswalking questions you might have. He's been pretty much everywhere. Down there is Eb Crackneys, an old Harmonium basher. Don't hold that against him, and a tout. He's got a good heart in him, and he knows Sigil up and down. Them friends over there are the Agathagrin and Terrigrin. Word of advice, don't deal with them. They might be low rankers in the fiend hierarchy, but they're still fiends. Then you got Illquicks over there, not trustworthy, and some mercy kills looking for some poor sod. Darkon is Githral is much mystery to me. Don't know much about him. He don't talk much. Finally, you interested in earning some free bulb? Yeah, sure. There's a bubber over there against the far wall, hanging about in the shadows. Has been trying to work up her courage to slip out without covering her tab. I want you to make sure she don't do that. If you do it, you get free bub here for life. Let me see here. Let me see here. Because I want to frick this up. Gotta go. Yeah, I would buy the eye if I could afford it. Okay. Oh, dude. I'll let you know when I'm done. But we'll talk to Illquicks over here. Seems to be a unique fellow. See a short, rotund man with a perplexed expression on his face. And the lines on his loose skin looks like he's not too uncommon. He carries a flagon of ale. Looks like it's in the process of being emptied. Rapidly. And between swallows, he speaks in a gentle voice, so quiet you can barely hear his words. Hello, traveler. My name is Illquicks. Can I be some assistance to you? Greetings! I had some questions. What do you want to know, my friend? Who exactly are you? I am but a humble man with a slight flowery, poetical bent, and a tendency towards the supernatural. I regret that I have none of my supplies here, or I should be most eager to teach you the ways of power. Perhaps some later time? Yes, I'd like to. For now, I have some other questions. Shut up, watch. Let's see. Insane patrons. Oh, I'm trying to find a way to make Mokai paper drinks. Any questions? Any suggestions? He laughs, his jaw shaking loosely, almost seeming to fall from his face. You could always poison a friend. A dose of that was always effective in bringing resolution to nearly any conflict. He laughs again. Of course, I'm joking. He winks. Of course, sure. I had some other questions. Let's see what he says on the patrons list. The patrons of this tavern are many and varied. I have spoken with most and find them delightful, with the exception of those creatures of law. He gestures toward the pair of Abishai sitting in the corner. They taint the air with their presence, lending an unwholesome stench to an otherwise pleasant environment. I recommend speaking to Barkus. I understand he requires some aid with a trifling matter. Then we have that old character. I'm still trying to understand him fully. It is quite an undertaking, if I say so myself. Those are the folk of interest here. The others? Well, perhaps I am too discriminating. Why do you despise those creatures of law? Ah, a fine question, my friend. My upbringing has been on the chaotic side of the Great Ring. You may speak to Kendrin Illborn, a misnomer if I ever heard one, of the Plains. He fancies himself a great planeswalker. To return from my digression, I have lived my many years with chaos and find it pleasantly agreeable. To me, the taint of law, as in those creatures there, is reprehensible and tyrannical. If I am to be crushed underfoot, I'd rather be by an individual than a machine that knows nothing of emotion. Yeah, I actually kind of agree with that. Ilquick smiles toothily, his fat cheeks barely moving. To each his own. I say, do you have any more questions? No. We're singular patrons.
Done.
We still have many other people to, speak to at this bar. Many other people. Well, we will do that. Because 32 minutes. And please, for the love of God, don't tell me I'm in battle for some damn reason, because that'd be silly. But we will do that. Okay, next time! On the BygMan Plays Planescape Torment, pressed by Bormac. So then, it's Big Fatty Plus, sayonara. And, yeah, this is one crazy bar. I mean, I've been in a bar in my life, and my friends know what type of bar, and that's not going to get into that on that subject, but, yeah, it's just a bar I could hang out in as long as they have food and something other than alcohol. Anyone want to roast marshmallows on Ingus? No?